Hello. So this morning on the way to work, I almost got into a car crash. I was on a four-lane highway. We're going straight, and this woman came out. Well, it's not a highway; it's just a road. This woman decided to turn left, and I think she looked left and then right and forgot to look left again. And so myself and this other car were like slamming on brakes. The guy in the car next to me is laying on the horn, and he's having a really bit of rage going on. The woman in the car that was turning left was screaming and pounding her wheel, and she's freaking out and like screaming fuck and all this stuff. And for whatever reason, I was feeling calm. This is not always my experience with these kinds of situations, but I was like, go on, go ahead, it's fine. She didn't see me. She was too busy shouting cuss words and banging on her steering wheel and being mad at the guy honking at her. So, of course, because my brain works this way, I started thinking about how this can be like private practice for some people. So let's talk about how, particularly in the early stages or when you don't have the clients that you don't want to be a private practice car crash. You want success, right? So when you open up your practice, the version of looking left and then right and then left again is making sure that you have a plan for helping potential clients find you. A lot of people just open up and they're like, okay, I'm here. Which is, I've never seen I'm sure they've happened, but I've never seen a private practice fill that way. So then if you don't have a plan, things aren't going so well in your private practice. You don't know how to get clients, which I always think of like helping them find you. But you don't have a plan for helping them find you, so they aren't calling you, so you're not getting your clients. And then what I often see is people will just start throwing money at random things that feel like might work, like maybe getting an ad in a local magazine or newspaper, which I've only seen work in really small towns and not consistently. So that's like that print media advertising thing I've not seen. If you've had great success, post that in the comments so people know, but most of the time it's only in small towns that I've seen that work. So they start throwing money at kind of random marketing efforts without a greater, more cohesive strategy. Or maybe they're just sending like letters with their cards to random doctor's offices, which also only seems to work in towns really desperate for therapists. So then maybe you get really mad about the fact that it's not working. And so you're like the woman in the car screaming fuck. And so you're probably screaming fuck sometimes too, because you're really frustrated. Maybe you're feeling bad about your practice or yourself or your efforts or whatever. So then you're not seeing some of these opportunities right in front of you, the people who are waving you on and trying to help you. And what that might look like is getting together with old coworkers who might be great referral sources. It might look like having a conversation with your own doctor. I mean, I've joked in the party when we're talking about having conversations with doctors that I've literally had a conversation with my doctor about my practice in the stirrups. So, kind of mark it wherever. But what then happens is if you don't have this cohesive plan and this great strategy, then you might either give up on your private practice when you really weren't giving it a fair shot anyway if you didn't have a plan, or you figure out a plan and you gain success and it's great, but you had all this time of suffering that was really unnecessary. So for those of you who do not have a marketing plan, I'm going to have you look at the Abundance Party, abundanceparty.com, and see if it's a fit. We have a marketing fundamentals course in there that if you do it, you'll have a solid marketing plan. And we go through how to do things like the best practices and all that kind of stuff. If you do have a marketing plan already, make sure you're working it. Like make sure it's in your calendar and you know what you're doing when, so you're not wasting time on Facebook. I mean, we're on Facebook, so hopefully we're being strategic about this, or it's downtime. But you're not wasting time instead of being strategic about when you're doing what, so that you're really taking care of building this thing that you're committed to. So that's what I got for you. You can check out abundanceparty.com to see if it's a good fit. And maybe, how about in the comments, if you guys will write down maybe some things that you tried that didn't work for you. And I'll say sometimes we look at what other people do or don't do in their marketing efforts, and they're not actually a good indicator of what's going to work for you, because your marketing needs to be about you and your practice. If your marketing is based on somebody else's practice and what they do, then it might not work for you. So that's one reason in the Marketing Fundamentals course, I give you a ton of different options, and the very first lesson in each module is this for me? Because I want you to choose strategically. I want you to choose based on who you are and what you're good at and what your practice is about. So, all right, I've rambled on. Maybe I still have some of the adrenaline from the almost car crash, but I will talk to you guys later.